They moved into Grandpa's mountain cabin. The attic held a family secret. The mountain road twisted through thick pine forests as Emily pressed her forehead against the car window. This place better have internet. Her younger brother Jake groaned from the back seat. Their mother laughed. Your grandfather lived here for 40 years without internet. Exactly my point. Emily smiled despite herself. 3 months earlier, their grandfather had passed away unexpectedly. The old mountain cabin had been left to their family. With money tight and their mother needing a fresh start after losing her job, moving there had seemed like the only option. The cabin finally appeared between towering trees. It looked like something from an old postcard. A stone chimney stretched toward the sky. Flower boxes hung beneath the windows. The porch wrapped around the front like welcoming arms. Yet something about it felt strangely lonely. Their mother unlocked the door. The smell of cedar wood drifted through the house.
"It's beautiful," Emily whispered. For a moment, even Jake stopped complaining. The first few hours passed in a blur of unpacking. Grandpa's old furniture remained exactly where he had left it. A worn rocking chair sat beside the fireplace. Books filled every shelf. Photographs covered the walls. Emily paused at one particular picture. Grandpa stood beside a woman she had never seen before. The woman was smiling. One arm rested on Grandpa's shoulder. "Mom?" Her mother glanced over. "Who's this woman?" A strange expression crossed her face. For a second, she looked genuinely surprised. "I don't know." "You've never seen her before?" "No." Her answer came too quickly. Then she walked away. Emily frowned. Something felt off. That evening, while exploring the second floor, Jake suddenly shouted, "Guys, come look at this." Emily and her mother hurried upstairs. At the end of the hallway stood a narrow wooden ladder leading upward. Above it was a small trapdoor. "An attic?" Jake asked. Their mother stared. "I didn't know there was one." The trapdoor wouldn't open. A heavy iron lock secured it shut. Emily pulled hard. Nothing. Jake tried. Still nothing. "Where's the key?" he asked. Their mother shrugged. "No idea." That night, wind rattled the windows. The forest outside seemed alive with whispers. Emily couldn't sleep. Around midnight, she heard footsteps. Slow, careful, above her ceiling. Her eyes snapped open. The sound continued. Step, step, step. Someone was walking in the attic. She sat upright. The attic was locked. No one could be up there. The footsteps suddenly stopped. Silence filled the room. Emily barely slept after that. The next morning, she mentioned it at breakfast. Jake laughed immediately. "Ghost Grandpa." Very funny. Their mother looked uneasy. "Old houses make noises. Footsteps aren't house noises." Nobody replied. After breakfast, Emily decided to search for the attic key. Inside Grandpa's desk, she discovered dozens of notebooks. Most contained ordinary entries: weather notes, garden plans, shopping lists. Then she found a journal hidden beneath a false drawer. The final page caught her attention. If you're reading this, the truth is still up there. Do not let strangers find it first. Emily's heart skipped. What truth? She flipped through earlier pages. Most had been torn out. Only one sentence remained. The attic remembers what everyone else forgot. A chill ran down her spine. Just then, Jake burst into the room. You need to see this. Outside, near the tree line, muddy footprints surrounded the cabin. Fresh footprints. Far too large to belong to either of them. Their mother examined them carefully. Maybe a hiker? But Emily noticed something. The footprints led toward the cabin, not away from it. And beside the porch steps lay a rusted brass key. A key that looked exactly old enough to fit the attic lock. Emily picked it up. Before anyone could stop her, she climbed the stairs. The key slid smoothly into the lock. Click. The attic door slowly creaked open. A freezing gust of air rushed out. Darkness waited above. And from somewhere inside the attic came the faint sound of a music box beginning to play by itself. The attic has finally been opened, but something inside is already awake. Tell me, where are you watching from? I'm curious to know. The music box melody floated through the darkness. Soft, gentle, completely impossible. Emily stood frozen at the top of the ladder. The attic stretched farther than she expected. Dust-covered furniture filled the space. Old trunks lined the walls. Moonlight slipped through a tiny circular window. The music box sat alone on a wooden table, slowly spinning, playing by itself. Jake appeared behind her. Nope. What? Nope. Absolutely not. Haunted attic, creepy music. This is where people in horror movies make terrible decisions. Despite her fear, Emily laughed. You came upstairs anyway. To watch you make the terrible decision. Even their mother managed a nervous smile. The music suddenly stopped. Silence returned. Emily stepped forward. Nothing moved. No hidden speakers, no wires. Just a very old music box. She carefully lifted the lid. Inside was a faded photograph. The same woman from Grandpa's picture. Only this time she was holding a small baby. Written on the back were 4 words. For my little star. Emily frowned. Who was she? Nobody answered. Nearby stood a large wooden trunk. The lock had rusted away years earlier. When Emily opened it, dozens of documents spilled inside. Letters, photographs, newspaper clippings, and one thick leather folder. The name on the folder made her stop breathing. Eleanor Brooks. Their mother's face turned pale. Eleanor. You know her? Emily asked. Her mother slowly nodded. That was your grandfather's sister. Emily blinked. Grandpa had a sister? That's what I was told when I was young. Told? Nobody ever talked about her. The room suddenly felt colder. Inside the folder were newspaper articles dating back almost 50 years. Most headlines mentioned the same thing. Local woman missing. Search continues. Family refuses public comment. Every article featured Eleanor's photograph. The woman from the picture. The woman holding the baby. Jake swallowed hard. So Grandpa's sister disappeared? Their mother nodded slowly. Apparently. Emily noticed another document underneath. A handwritten letter. The paper had yellowed with age, She carefully unfolded it. The date was 47 years old. "Dear William, if anything happens to me, protect her. Never tell them where she is. Promise me. Eleanor." Emily looked up. Protect who? Nobody knew. More digging revealed stranger discoveries. Maps covered with markings, receipts from distant towns, birth certificates, legal documents. Every clue seemed connected to a little girl, a girl whose name appeared repeatedly, Charlotte. Yet no photographs showed her face, almost as if someone had intentionally removed them. Jake sat on an old chair. The chair immediately collapsed beneath him. Wood shattered. Dust exploded everywhere. For a moment, everyone forgot the mystery and burst out laughing. Jake groaned from the floor. "Great, I survived the haunted attic and got attacked by furniture." Then Emily noticed something hidden inside the broken chair. A metal box. The laughter disappeared instantly. She pulled it free. The box contained a small key and a cassette tape. Written across the label were 3 words. "Play this last." "Last?" Jake asked. "That's never reassuring." Emily searched the attic for whatever the key belonged to. Eventually, she found an old cabinet hidden behind stacks of boxes. The new key fit perfectly. Inside rested a single object, a leather journal. Grandpa's journal. The final entries had been written only weeks before his death. Emily opened to the last page. "My time is running out. Someone is searching again. If they find the attic, everything will come out. I only hope Emily discovers the truth before they do." Emily's stomach tightened. "He wrote my name." Their mother looked equally shocked. "Why would he expect you specifically?" No one had an answer. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from downstairs. Everyone jumped. Another crash followed. The front door. Someone was trying to force it open. Jake rushed to the attic window. A dark truck sat outside near the tree line. An unfamiliar man stood on the porch. He wasn't knocking. He was breaking in. Then, the stranger looked directly toward the attic window and smiled, as if he knew exactly what they had found. A stranger has arrived at the cabin, and he seems to know more about the attic secret than the family does. The stranger kept smiling. His eyes never left the attic window. Emily's heart pounded. "Who is that?" Jake whispered. Nobody knew. Another violent bang shook the front door. The old cabin trembled. Their mother immediately took charge. "Everyone downstairs, now." They hurried from the attic. The stranger was still outside when they reached the living room. Then, unexpectedly, the banging stopped. Silence. A moment later, an engine roared. Emily peeked through the curtains. The truck was pulling away. Gone. Just like that. "What was that about?" Jake asked. No one had an answer. But one thing was obvious. The stranger hadn't come by accident. He knew something. That evening, none of them felt comfortable sleeping. Instead, they gathered around the fireplace. The cassette tape sat on the coffee table, waiting. Grandpa's final message. Emily found an old cassette player among Grandpa's belongings. Her hands trembled as she inserted the tape. A burst of static filled the room. Then, Grandpa's familiar voice emerged. "Emily, if you're hearing this, I wasn't able to tell you myself." The room fell completely silent. "I've carried this secret for nearly 50 years. Emily felt tears forming instantly. Hearing Grandpa's voice again hurt more than she expected. "The woman in the photographs was my sister," Eleanor. A pause followed. She didn't disappear. Everyone exchanged stunned looks. "What?" Jake whispered. Grandpa continued. "She ran away." The words hung heavily in the air. She was young, scared, alone. She had given birth to a daughter named Charlotte. Emily immediately remembered the documents. The mysterious little girl, Charlotte. Our family refused to accept the child. They threatened to separate them. Their mother covered her mouth. Oh my God. So Eleanor left. Static crackled briefly. For years, everyone believed she vanished. But I knew where she went. Emily leaned forward. Every answer seemed to be arriving at once. I helped her disappear. The confession stunned them. I sent money whenever I could. I visited when possible. I protected their location. Jake stared at the speaker. So Grandpa helped them hide? The tape continued. Charlotte grew up safely. She built a life, had children of her own. Emily frowned. If Charlotte had children, then where were they now? Grandpa answered moments later. Charlotte's family never knew the entire story. Not until recently. A long pause followed. Then came the revelation. Emily, Charlotte was your grandmother. The room froze. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Emily felt the air leave her lungs. Her grandmother? That meant Eleanor wasn't just Grandpa's sister. She was Emily's great aunt. And Charlotte, the child everyone had been searching for, was part of their family all along. Tears rolled down their mother's cheeks. My mother never knew? No, Grandpa's voice answered through the recording. Very few people did. Then, his tone became serious. The man who came looking for the attic works for people trying to claim land that legally belongs to Charlotte's descendants. Emily's eyes widened. The maps, the documents, the legal papers. Everything suddenly made sense. The proof is hidden beneath the cabin. Jake blinked. Wait, beneath the cabin? Even in the middle of a life-changing revelation, he somehow sounded offended. Could Grandpa not hide things in normal places? Emily laughed through her tears. The tension finally broke. Together, they followed instructions from the journal. Near the fireplace, beneath a loose floorboard, they discovered a metal container. Inside were original birth certificates, property deeds, letters, enough evidence to prove ownership beyond any doubt. Grandpa had protected the truth for decades, and now he had passed it on. Months later, the legal battle ended. The stranger and his investors failed. The land remained with the family. The cabin remained theirs. On a bright autumn afternoon, Emily sat on the porch watching the mountains. The attic no longer felt frightening. It felt important. A place where forgotten stories had survived. A place where one man's loyalty had protected generations. The wind drifted through the trees. For a moment, she imagined Grandpa smiling somewhere nearby. Not because the secret had stayed hidden, but because the truth had finally been found. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more emotional mysteries, family secrets, and unforgettable adventures. Let us know what you would have done after finding that attic key and which part surprised you the most.